afternoon, Stitch Roadies. Thank you for stopping by. I am so appreciative of all of your company, let me tell you. Today is a somewhat gloomy day. It's, I believe it's more fog than smoke, although we have had quite a couple weeks of smoke. I think it was a week ago that there was, in one storm, there was like 1,600 lightning strikes. Yep. In Oregon, our natural disaster is a forest fire. And this last week has been quite the stormy weather on and off. I like the fog better than the smoke, though. I have to tell you, the only interesting thing about smoke is that it creates the most spectacular sunsets or sunrises, and last night the moon was this orange orb up in the sky. Yep, that's what we're dealing with these days, but I'm not complaining, not complaining. Life is good. I've gotten a lot of stitching going. I have to say that the system that I have, and I've talked about it before, that we all figure out ways. We all figure out ways to enjoy our stitching and maybe increase our productivity, and there are a wide variety. You have to set up a system that works for you, and there are moments where you like do whip parades so that you acknowledge what you have going on. There are some stitchers that do like a Whipco board where somehow they get a number and whatever projects is on that calendar, that's what they work on that day. Monogamous stitchers do one thing at a time. So you just have to find out what system. There's no right or wrong. It is what brings you the most peace, and I guess that's what I'm talking about. Rather than judge yourself against someone else's productivity, figure out what works for you. And my system this year has been fantastic, and I will probably take it into next year and see how it goes, because next year is going to be the year of the Anna stitch, and that is where I stitch things that I want to have hanging in my house as my designated stitch. So my system, as you've heard before, is that I stitch on whatever I want during the daytime hours when I have a chance to stitch. And in the evening hours when I'm stitching, it's always on a designated project. And this year it has been a project that is usually something I've stitched for a family member's birthday. And I have an FFO. I am like, this system is working for me. It may not work for you. It depends on how things hit your brain, but for me this has been good. It has given me a sense of accomplishment. More than that, I have not been spinning my wheels with indecisiveness and then recrimination, mental recrimination on the outcome of what I'm doing. So the last designated stitch I picked up from the framers, and it is fantastic. Look at that. This is a Jeanette McGowan chart that I got at Acorns and Threads, and I have to say, as much as I whined about the fact that there were those little animals on the tree, I am so glad I went ahead and did them. I got the chart at Acorns and Threads, as I told you. I used all the called for fabric or thread and I have no idea what fabric I used. It is a light, kind of like a light olive green. And it's the first time I've kind of stitched my initials and the year in it, so I'm kind of happy about that. This is for a September birthday, and I'm so happy it's done ahead of time. So that is where I get my satisfaction this year, is knowing that I am actually finishing things. Next year, though, it's going to be finishing things for myself. So the next designated stitch that moved up in the food chain, or the floss chain, is the one for my sister's birthday, and it is a Jeanette Douglas vintage grapes, because she lives in wine country. And I am doing this lower chart, but only the bottom half of this chart. So right there is what I'm doing. I'm using Kim the Contented Stitcher's modus operandi. And this is where I'm at on that. So making some good progress. Making some good progress. And this is an October birthday, so I just need to get it done and get it framed. And I'm storing it in my Crafty Corey Stitches bag, which is, Corey sells her bags through Acorns and Threads. And I really love her bags. I love the clear window, because it allows me to not forget what's in there, and that it has somewhat of a little sturdier composition. Has a sturdier composition. But I forgot to show you last time, the latest thing that Corey has for sale at Acorns and Threads was floss blings, and I love this floss bling. It's an ocean themed one that is so fabulous, and I'm sure there are some that you would like too, but I'm going to use this on one of my ocean themed stitches, which I know I got the crab somewhere here. So what have I been up to other than just finishing stuff? A lot of shopping. And I know that I have been accused of being the queen of enabling, but I take somewhat offense to that, because I have been enabled by the comments. I love the comments. Keep them coming. Oh, and let me just say that on a non-floss tube YouTube, I was watching, that YouTube content creator was sharing with her audience that YouTube had kicked a lot of people off of her site. So to double check that you were still subscribed. Because when I do a giveaway, the way I do is when the random number brings up a name, I click on the name, and then it goes to your subscriptions. And if I don't see my face anywhere, then I draw again. And I hate doing that. So please double check. But I have been enabled in a variety of different ways. Mea culpa, mea culpa. On Instagram, Instagram and Facebook is where I get a lot of enabling, because you really can look at the pictures and all of that kind of thing. And I am kind of paranoid. I just found out this last week that 2 content creators had been hacked on Instagram. And that is why I'm sorry, mea culpa, that I'm private on my Instagram, because I actually go through and double check every request. And sometimes it's just, I don't want a job, I just want to have a good time. And if I can't see, and I totally get why someone is private on Instagram, but if I can't see that you have a ton of cross stitch or a ton of quilting, then yeah. So I keep my Instagram and Facebook numbers fairly low comparatively to YouTube, which you can't control who joins on YouTube. So that is, that's just trying to protect from the bots and the trolls and all of that. But I do get enabled on Instagram and Facebook. And Stitch Folk, Barry from Stitch Folk, I've got her bags. You know, it's just so awesome. I've got a shirt. I'm all ready for Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, which is coming up in September. And I could not pass up the opportunity to get myself a water can, because you can personalize it. And look at this. So here it is, cross stitch, but look at the bottom. Stitch Roadies. I am ready for retreat. Oh, I hope this is my, maybe this will be my screenshot. Well, anyway, I was really excited about that. So that was really very nice to be able to personalize it so that I don't have to add my name or anything like that. I just wanted to show you, now I've showed this before, but here's the reason I'm showing it to you again, is that inside my absolutely wonderful, maybe this will be my screenshot, little box, my little accoutrement box, is the most adorable pincushion, and I've showed this to you before. This was gifted to me by Carrie at the Bristol retreat, and she made it with the salt cellar. And she says it's really hard now because everybody's doing it. That's what we do. We try to copy each other to find salt cellars. But when G and I were out antiquing this last week, I saw these salt cellars for sale, and I had never seen them in carnival glass. I think that's what it's called, carnival glass. Look at that. It's like a little flower. And then this one, so fabulous. So I got those two things because I got to try to make little pin cushions, and that's, you know. But I have fallen down a variety of enabling, what would you call those? Enabled spaghetti pots? I've fallen down a variety of enabled stitchy boxes. That's what I'll call it, stitchy boxes. And it's a great feeling. So rather than spend another moment chastising ourselves about how much we have, we'll never get through it, blah, 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 just enjoy it. Enjoy in this kind of crazy world that we're doing something that's just fun, and it's not harmful. It actually brings a smile. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. So bring on the enabling. My friend Michelle Michelle travels in her van like G and I travel on and camp in our van, she will go for extended periods of time down to the southwest area. And so finding ways when it's not like traveling in a Class A where you feel like you can just bring your whole house with you. When you travel in a van, you have to be a minimalist, but at the same time, you gotta bring what you gotta bring. So you find different ways to do it. And I was looking at her Instagram site, and she was freeze drying onions, or hydrating onions, not freeze drying, but hydrating. Hydrating? No, that's making them moist. Drying. She was, I swear, this getting old thing is just something. But she was drying onions. And so I immediately messaged her and asked her a bunch of questions. And I told her I have a food dryer. I dry fruit all the time. I've never done vegetables. But I was all about the idea of drying onions because I like sweet onions, but they're seasonal. And she gave me a tip, which, oh my gosh, thank goodness I listened to her. She said, put your food dryer outside your house. Oh my gosh, the whole neighborhood must have wondered who was cooking. But I had gone to Costco and I bought a big bag of sweet onions. And so then I have this thing called a mandolin, and I sliced the onions up and I dried them. And this whole jar is dried onions. They'll last forever. And this is about 4 onions. So for G and I to buy a big bag of onions, you know you're going to lose some of them. And right now, I don't know about you, but groceries, you just don't want to waste anything. So this way, I can tell you, when I do stuff like this, I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself. So that was fun this week. What else was fun this week? Oh yes, lots of fun going on this week. I am working on my Smalls Exchange for the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. And let me just encourage you for 2024, you're gonna want to get on Acorns and Threads newsletter mailing list, because you're going to want to attend the 2024. Just saying, just saying. We can't go to all of them. I have been hanging on every floss tube that is talking about summer school. I couldn't go to summer school. Doesn't make me not want to watch every detail about it and wish I was there. But the important part is getting on these mailing lists so that you know, because it's all a timed thing. It's, you got to press the button at the right time. You got to register. They only could take so many. And, you know, if you don't get in, there's always going to be another one. And when you do go, you make friends and meet people and get inspired in a way entirely different, because it's outside your normal day-to-day. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Okay. I showed you my FFO. I showed you my work in progress. I showed you my see, I have to go through. It's like this, huh? I started a new binder. Of PDFs that I've downloaded. So when I went, this is a bandana that I'm going to embroidery embellish, but it's a bandana from Appaloosa Bones, which is Gregory Alan Isakoff's, I think it's his latest album. When I went, G and I went to that performance, which was fabulous, I found out there were all kinds of other Isakoff fans, including Ellen, Maximum Cross Stitch, who is part of Crash Test Dummies. So in communication with her on Instagram, I said, you know, that the group that played before made me wish that she was going to be here. And I told you this last time. So needless to say, Ellen is going to be singing here in December in Portland. I cannot wait. But since I was on her Instagram site, I saw one of her recent designs, and I had to get it. I had to get it because, after all, this is the beehive, and this one was called the Honey Thief, and that bear is dragging a beehive behind him. So most definitely I have to stitch this. So that was number one download. Then when I was on Instagram, I was looking at the homespun needlework group that's on Facebook, and I saw a post done by Vi where she had posted a finish on a Jan Hicks Creates, and this was a free pattern on Jan Hicks. Now it's lovely, but let me tell you what Vi did. I'm going to show you because I downloaded a picture of it because I was flabbergasted. I shouldn't say, maybe flabbergasted is not quite the right word. I was mesmerized by her finish. So here it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, I'm going to do it. And she put down what thread she used. DMC 4515. I'm like, 4515? I didn't even know it went up that high. I mean, black is 310. I have some that are in the 1,000, but 4515, I was kind of flabbergasted. So I went and picked some up, and I have to say I'm underwhelmed. I am underwhelmed because it makes me nervous, because here it is. It doesn't look like the variegation is smoother, whatever you call that. It looks like there's very distinctive variegations. So I went back, I bought some because I absolutely loved her, and I went back and I looked at that, and I figured out she must do 1X at a time, not sewing across, and I love how it turned out. So I'm going to be brave about this. I'm going to be brave about this, and I'm going to do it. Who would have thought that there would have been a DMC thread 4515? Well, while I was on Jan Hicks's site, under her free site too, I got this one because I thought this is a very good chart. how many, I know, I've said it, I know I sound like a broken record, but it seems like at my age, everybody I know is having some health issues. I mean, I could barely, my shoulder blade is killing me from exercising the wrong way. And so I thought, I just need to have that all ready to go for whatever. These are all, by the way, enabled. I was enabled by this. So then I went to, and Etsy is another, you know how Etsy is. It's like, oh, it's like going to a carnival, and every booth has a different thing. It's just so amazing. All these creative people. Well, I don't have a lot of guests. I mean, I'm not a big party thrower and that, but the few guests that I might have at my house, I want them to laugh when they're here or wonder who they're visiting, one or the other. And so I decided I'm definitely going to stitch this for my guest bathroom because it totally cracked me up. It totally cracked me up. Yeah. I want someone to sit down on my toilet and look up and see this. No, I know. This is by Cross Stitch with Art. Just, I love a good laugh, even when you're sitting on the toilet. And then I had a couple of more downloads. One I can't even show because there was no picture. It's just the chart. And the other one is the person who enabled me stitched it as a gift, and I don't want it to somehow get out that she did that until they have received the gift. Yeah, so needlework, online needlework market happens, so I know there's a lot of enabling going on there. This Saturday is Open Stitch at Acorns and Threads. I'm going to see my oldest grandson. I cannot believe he's started middle school. I'm going to pick him up for some back-to-school shopping. My middle grandson, he stayed overnight a couple nights ago, and I don't know. I think my well is being filled right now. I am so grateful for it. Because that's where we have to look. We have to look to those things that bring us joy. And cross-stitching definitely brings me a lot of joy and peace. It's so inspiring to see what everyone is doing. And so what if you have more charts than you could conceivably stitch in your lifetime? So what? At the moment you got the chart, if it made you smile, it was worth it. It was worth it. Okay, so I think that's all I have going on right now. I've been working a lot in my garden, already thinking about next year what I want to do. But I've been moving around and planting some things in my yard because we just love it. We love it outside. And we've got some camping trips coming up, although one of our places is evacuated, so we shall see if we get to go on that one. But life is good. I hope life is good for you, no matter where you are. Whether you're going into your summer as we enter our fall, or vice versa, we're going into our winter. Our fall and winter seasons, I have so many plans for my stitching. I really can't wait for the 2024 season of Anna. I can't wait for that. Thank you so much. Double check if you're still subscribed, and take care. I love you guys.